Hello parents, welcome to Parent Connect. Today we're going to connect with something extremely important, not only for parents but also for your children. We're going to connect with ACT and ACT Aspire. So we're going to begin with Mrs. Cassandra Holman, guidance counselor from Davidson High School. Welcome, Ms. Holman.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here with us this morning. Today we want to talk about something that's very important, ACT. So when we think ACT, what exactly comes to mind?
When I think of ACT and when I'm talking to parents, it is a college readiness indicator. It's an achievement test that students will take. They can take it as early as the 7th grade.
For college entrance or just as a practice?
In the 7th grade, it would be more of a practice.
A practice to be ready. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but that score, they will keep records of your 7th grade score.
Okay.
But it is a test that they will take, and it assesses their college readiness.
Mm-hmm. And we know ACT has been around for a long time because I am well removed from high school, but I do remember taking the ACT. Mm-hmm. And I remember that being such an integral part of my getting ready.
And it was such an important test to take. So much preparation, studying went on beforehand to make sure you were ready to take it on that day.
Well, I think in the early 2000s, it really became the ACT College Board really started using the test more widely in terms of encouraging students to take it more than one time.
How many times a year can you take the test?
The test itself is given, I want to say maybe 6 times a year.
Okay.
You have to sign up at the website, the ACT website. That's something that the child needs to do. They have to set up an account with a username and password.
Because here in Mobile County now, we have a certain group of students in high school, each child will take it.
Correct. Now in Mobile County, public schools in the 11th grade, all 11th graders will take it. That's separate from when the ACT actually gives the test.
So the ones that they take at school, they take it during school hours, at school? Okay.
That's a lot different from the
Yes.
first time. I remember going off-site, I had to sign up, of course with the help of my counselor, but now this ensures that every child in Mobile County, every junior, they will have a seat within the school setting for the ACT.
Yeah.
Regardless if they're going to go to college or not, at least they're going to take the test one time.
Yeah, in the 11th grade.
11th grade.
In the 11th grade, they are going to take it one time at the school. The ACT, when they administer the test, they do it on a Saturday.
That's the one I remember, getting up
Saturday
early Saturday morning.
Yes, but the school gives it during the school day. So it is a benefit because the test itself costs around $36. So by taking it at the school, you don't have to pay that.
At least that one time
Mobile
as a
County
junior.
is paying for it for that test.
Wow, so what's the benefit as a counselor that you can see as far as a student going on a Saturday morning, but yet being in your familiar school setting?
Well, I think being in your familiar school setting puts your mind at ease.
Feel more comfortable.
Absolutely, because I do hear feedback sometimes from students when they're driving themselves to a Saturday test. It doesn't happen often, but you can get lost if you're in an unfamiliar setting.
And I'm sure you're already nervous.
Yes, and you're
Anyway,
already
so-
nervous. So being able to take it in your home setting is definitely a benefit. You know, just to help them feel at ease. They're not going to get lost.
So that one of those barriers then would be just the comfort level of the student taking the ACT because there is that sense of nervousness.
And with their classmates as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what are some things that you say to parents as far as stressing the importance of the ACT and also what to expect after their child has taken the ACT?
Well, I'm the counselor for 9th grade students, and one of the things that I stress to parents is class choices. I think it is very important that your child takes classes at the highest level that they're able to. Even in the 9th grade, if they're not able to take honors or AP classes yet, I
Right.
tell students all the time, you know, that's the point of high school is you're going to improve and you're going to
Work hard to work yourself up
Yes.
into those classes.
Yes, so work as hard as you can starting in the 9th grade so that as you progress in high school, you do make harder class choices. I do think that the harder classes that you're in, they do prepare you a little bit more for the ACT
Exactly.
and for college
In general.
in general, yes. So I tell parents to really monitor their class choices to make sure,
Which they should do anyway.
yes.
Yes, just to make sure they're on target to graduate
Right.
anyway.
Right, right, and make sure that you see your children studying at home, and ask them specific questions about what they're doing at home. Look at their notes and say, "Do you understand this? Kind of explain this to
Yeah,
me."
and none of this study in your room with the door closed. The next thing you know, they're on their cell phone,
Right.
they're on the
Exactly.
computer. You do have to
Exactly.
have, you know, a good study area where as a parent you can walk by and kind of peek and make sure they are working on what they're supposed to.
Yes. And then as they get older, I would say take the ACT more than once.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
think a lot of experts will tell us when we go as counselors to meetings at different colleges that usually students will do better after they've taken the ACT
A couple of
one time.
times.
One of the things that they're not used to is being timed. The
Exactly.
ACT is
Testing.
timed. And so they're not used to being told you have to put your pencil down and you can't
This
pick
is
it back
the
up.
this is the end of it, end of your
Correct.
test.
So I think the first time that can be shocking for a student. I know it is because I've heard students say that. But then once they're used to that, then
You at least know what to
Yes.
expect the next
you can
time.
pace yourself.
Yes, that's what I
Yes.
was going to say. Pace yourself better.
I would say ask your guidance counselor for an ACT practice booklet. We do get practice booklets.
That's great information.
And I also tell students to time themselves. The practice booklet has each section of the test and it gives you the time that you're allotted for that test. And I tell students, use your phone. You have a timer on your phone. Time
That's
yourself.
excellent
right,
practice
yeah.
because in a way you're putting yourself in that setting. It's
Yeah.
time. Let me see how much I can get done.
And another thing I always tell students and parents is try to not make it too overwhelming. Don't tell yourself you have to study for the ACT 2 hours every night.
Oh goodness, no.
Yeah.
You can practice just a little bit each night and then maybe on a Saturday morning do a practice test. You don't have to do all 4 of them,
Right.
but do one of them. Another thing that you can do is you can download an app onto your smartphone.
Wow.
That's
And
neat. You
there's
didn't
an
even do that at
ACT
school.
question of the day. And,
Oh, of the day.
And so every day, it gives you a different level of difficulty. It gives you a question in one of the subject areas, and then it gives you not only the correct answer, but the reason for the answer.
For the answer.
Yes, and it tracks your answers.
Okay,
great.
that's some great
Uh-huh.
information. Well, parents, we're about to take a break. And when we come back, now we've heard about the ACT. So there's a second piece to this in Mobile County, ACT Aspire. And we're going to hear from an expert regarding ACT Aspire. And then we'll come back so that we can connect the two. Thank you.
The more parents are involved in school, the more likely it is a child will succeed. Children with involved parents and attend school regularly make better grades and have better social skills. Every involved parent makes a difference.
Get involved. Ask about your child's day. Explain how your education matters. Parent involvement, it matters.
You can find more information on parent involvement at mcpss.com.
Welcome back, parents. Today we are connecting with two very important topics, not only for parents, but for students. Right now we're going to discuss the ACT Aspire, and we welcome Ms. Mary A. Jackson, Research and Accountability Development Specialist for the Mobile County Public School
Thank you.
System.
Thank
welcome.
you so much for
Hi,
having
welcome
me.
to the
Thank
show.
you. I'm
So,
excited to be
Ms.
here.
Jackson, now we've heard about ACT, so tell us, what is the ACT Aspire and who actually takes the ACT Aspire?
Okay, well, the ACT Aspire is our state's high-stake assessment test, and students in grades 3 through 8 and 10th grade students also take the ACT Aspire.
What subjects do they test on?
They test reading, English,
And
of course,
math.
mathematics, and then there's some optional areas also
Depending
that
on
they
the
can study.
grade.
Yes.
I know my son last year was a third grader, and that was the first time I ever heard about ACT Aspire, and we're taking this test, and another teacher came and she proctored. I didn't realize how early they start that, in third grade
Exactly.
it starts.
They begin it in third grade, and it really is a wonderful addition to our assessments here in Mobile County because of the alignment to the ACT assessment.
So how does it, when you say alignments, how does that connect?
Okay, because it's predictive. And that's what's so wonderful. A child in the third grade, we can begin to see his or her trajectory in terms of their performance later on the college entrance exam.
So it starts off in third grade, and they take it every year, and hopefully, of course, you're looking for the improvement every year, and it does give them great practice for when they do have to take the ACT.
It also
or the
gives our system wonderful information in terms of where we see skill deficits. Well, we can look at our deficiencies across the system. We can look at it by grade level, and then we plan accordingly with our continuous improvement plan. So it gives us invaluable information.
It really is important.
So even with that, if I have a student like your child, third grade, then I can look at that and begin to see what he needs to work on, because my child may not know he or she is going to college, but if that's my desire, then I know this is what we need to build upon.
You know, absolutely. And let me say this, not just for students that want to attend college, because this is part of your transcript later on. So
Okay.
for the student that wants to go directly into a profession or directly into the workforce, what wonderful information you have now for a prospective employer who can look and see, you know, how you performed and your readiness for work as well.
That's great.
I know that as a parent, when I got back the scores for third, you know, when my son took it last year in third grade, that was the one thing for me that I looked, okay, where did he excel? Where was he just right on the mark? What do we need to practice more? And that I really liked, getting that report,
Exactly.
because it helped me to see, okay, what was he kind of sort of lacking last year? I know this year, his principal, Valerie Johnson, has gotten them in the morning to start practicing ACT Aspire type questions, and that has been great because I know he's getting that extra practice in morning break. They'll do like one math and one reading. He brings it home. It helps me to see what they're practicing so that at home we can practice at least a little bit more.
And of course, practice never hurts on any assessment.
No,
but
not at all.
let me just say this. Another benefit of the ACT Aspire is that it's aligned to the standards that we're being taught all year.
Yes.
And that type of alignment is invaluable. You know, it's not like children want to wait the day before and begin to, you know, cram for a test.
Exactly.
These are skills that build. If your child walked in as a kindergartner, as a first grader, as a second grader, these are skills all
That they're
along,
building up.
all along his academic career that are building, and they are aligned to what's being taught every day in class.
I noticed that for me was very helpful because he comes home and I know that, well, in the newsletter they put this is what he's practicing. Well, that's
Exactly.
great. You're right on track on what you should be practicing. That's wonderful. And of course, you know, with the testing coming up as well, I know that he's getting that extra practice so that I can see that score going up. You know,
You're
for this
absolutely
year.
right. Shortly, we have tens of thousands of students that are going to sit down either in front of a computer, because Mobile was one of the first only system, I think, originally, that decide to use the electronic format of testing, which is fantastic because that's what most
kids
that's the
love
format.
technology.
That's
Exactly.
right.
They're all
They're
into
doing
technology,
technology.
being on the keyboard.
Tens of thousands will sit down and begin, you know, just them and that computer, and it will give us a wonderful assessment of the work that's taken place in our system the entire year
Exactly.
and in our state.
And for elementary students, Ms. Jackson, do you feel like that technology piece kind of eases their comfort level? Because technology, they're just drawn to it.
You know, it scared me to death because I wasn't always in research and development as a principal. It scared me to death. The only thing I could think of was, oh my God, they're going to put them in front of those computers. The kids had it. It was the teachers, the
Exactly,
administrators that were
exactly.
so
They're
afraid.
so used to, because there's so many different tests and functions that they do in class, that
Right.
require them to use their device and be on the computer, you know, with the earphones. So I think that they're a little bit more ready than what we are.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. That was not a concern at all. I think, in my experience, just from observing, they seem to be a little more engaged because
Yes.
they had the computers and it was given in that
technology.
format.
And these are things that they are working on. It's not like it's cold in their face. And I commend, you know, classroom teachers, the district, and the state for that alignment. And then it has true relevance.
Yes.
That, you know,
Keep
as
your
an
kids on
elementary school, and I
track.
keep saying that because in elementary school, they know this is what we're going to do. But middle and high school, they have to see the connection as far as the why.
I'm so glad you brought that up because motivation accounts for a lot, and we can't always quantify what motivation, you know, the impact of motivation on assessments, but every test matters. Every test matters. You know, the world has really shrunk, and we're operating on a global stage. These assessments are seen, you know, it says something about us as a nation, you know, how well we're educating our students.
What
It
you're
says-
learning, what you're lacking.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
It says a lot about our state, you know. But to make it a little bit more personal, this is that child writing their summary.
Wow.
It's
That's
just
a great way
them.
to
It
put that.
is. It's
as well.
personal, and they should take it very personally. This is me, and anyone that pulls my transcript, anyone that wants to know anything really about who I am and what I'm about, they'll get a chance to see that.
Right, and I like what you
test.
said earlier. You don't have to be college bound. This still matters because if you're going out into the workforce, this is something that someone can take a look at and say,
And see
wow.
your achievement and see where
exactly.
you are.
And see your
Exactly.
readiness, because remember, it's not just college ready.
No,
it's
not
career
at all.
ready. And we have, you know, we're preparing students to go out into industry. Our signature academies, my goodness, a lot of students can just leave out and go
Exactly.
into
Straight
the
into a
world of work.
job.
But an employer wants to know. You know, they don't want to take a gamble and guess on who they have.
Right.
And boy, by looking at something like the ACT Aspire scores and seeing how this person is able to think, looking at what types of skills they have, and all of that, I think it's a tremendous piece of evidence if I were a
A
prospective
very
employer.
useful tool.
Yes,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Exactly. Well, parents, when we come back, now Ms. Jackson just left us with some great words. It's not just college, but it's college and career readiness, college and career readiness. So when we come back, parents, you may have a third grader, but we want you to see and hear about the alignment, how ACT Aspire and ACT, how they connect and come together. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Helena Tyler. I would like to invite you to join me for Inside Education. Come with us as we take a look at what's happening around Mobile County Public Schools, as well as what's happening in your child's classroom. That's Inside Education, right here on the MCPSS TV network.
I have a lot of great memories from high school, some great experiences. Just being in the Shaw Band was a great experience. With the leadership in my schools, I always felt like they were very passionate about what they were doing. They cared about their calling to teach and to lead the schools. I always felt like they cared about me as a student and my classmates, and they wanted to see us do well and succeed. The relationships that were formed during those years are what impacted me the most. And I would just like to say thank you.
Welcome back, parents, to Parent Connect. Today we are connecting with the ACT and ACT Aspire, two very important components of the Mobile County Public School System's Accountability Department. All right, ladies, you all have given us some great information.
Yes, for sure.
Carmen, I'm telling you, I really like the fact that you're stressing the importance of ACT and ACT Aspire. So how do the two eventually connect?
Well, I think the Aspire aligns with the ACT college readiness benchmarks. So that's why we have the younger students taking the
Starting the
Aspire.
practice, basically.
Yes.
So something Ms. Jackson said earlier, you can look at that information for that elementary or middle school child and begin to predict.
Absolutely. You can begin to see if they're on the right trajectory in terms of how they will perform on the college entrance exam. But let me say a little bit more about alignment. Our curriculum, the ACT Aspire is aligned, I mean, to assess with a great degree of accuracy the effectiveness of what's going on in the classroom.
And that's from day
So
to that's
the-
day to day.
That's right. So you
wonderful.
have the curriculum and aligned with the ACT Aspire and the alignment with the ACT. So.
That starts in 3rd grade and goes all the way to high school. So you know at least that the student is on track of what they're supposed to be learning that school year. They take the test. If they have fallen behind in anything, that would be a way to also take a look at that.
Right, it's prescriptive for us as a system. That's the part that no one really sees. When the results are ready to come in June, late June or July, I mean, we're anxious. We can't hardly wait because that is part of our planning. Our planning in terms of what our continuous improvement plan will look like the upcoming year. So we're looking at all of that data, all of that information to see where our strengths and weaknesses are and to come up with strategies and action steps to make sure that we can remediate those.
Exactly. And we know that parents receive that information so that even in 3rd grade, you want to be able to sit down and have that conference. And I know, Carmen, you were saying earlier, you remember
Yes,
having that
having
conference.
the little score, the little bar, wanting it, of course, to be at the top of the bar. Why is it not there? What was he lacking? What do we need to practice more? And that, for me as a parent, was very helpful because it let me know what we were already almost like a little behind from 3rd grade that he should be catching up on. And then it does help me as well as a parent to start quizzing him a little bit more. Hey, we were a little short. I think it was multiplication. We need to practice our multiplication a little bit more. And that has been very helpful.
I think what it also does, it helps with the language and the conversations between home and school. Because
exactly.
now the parents have that information and they understand where those gaps are. So when I come to the school, instead of just saying, I'm looking for some help, I can be pretty,
Specific.
Very
specific about
specific
what
what
I'm
my
looking
student,
for.
yes,
Tell me why
needs
this
help.
is down or this is not quite
What do
where
we
we
need-
want it to
what
be.
do we
What
need
do
to
we need to do?
practice
That's
on?
right.
And Ms.
exactly.
Holman, I can imagine with the high school student, the high school students probably have more control of the language, but then you have to communicate that information to the parent.
Yes, in high school, I think a lot of what parents are looking for is resources, like you were saying, and the results are very user-friendly. They're not necessarily easy to understand, but I
Right.
think that the parent and the counselor and the teacher can sit down together and come up with concrete strategies.
Exactly.
To help the student in those areas that you feel
Yes.
they were a little short.
Right. And then at the high school level, a lot of times parents just want resources. They want to know, when the teachers can meet and help them so that they can help their child at home. Sometimes they want tutoring resources.
Exactly.
So that they can get more enrichment
practice.
for their children.
Exactly. And then the piece that every 11th grader will get to take it, but then the 10th graders also take it. So if I've taken it, especially that 11th grade year, that one time, I still have time to come back if my goal is to make a higher score.
Yes.
Exactly.
To
You guys
practice
remember
more.
the plan. At one time we had another ACT test, the plan and all of
Right,
that. Well,
right.
it also assessed the same skills that the ACT Aspire did. But, Mobile County got rid of that assessment. And we have the 10th graders now taking just the ACT Aspire. But all of it is relevant and all of it matters. Just imagine,
Exactly.
a few years ago, because I have a 28-year-old that also came through Mobile County Public School System, the assessments we were taking we didn't know the alignment. We didn't know the predictability. I didn't have concrete information that says, this is where her strengths lie, and this is where we have some deficits, and these are some deficiencies that if you do this or that,
Right.
that
It will help them
That's
improve
right.
that.
Or to say how well she may do on her college entrance exam. We didn't have that.
And I think it also helps, like you said, it helps the educators know what they need to change in the classroom. At the high school
Exactly.
level, I know that that's a conversation that they have. If they see a deficit in a certain area or if they see patterns, then they work on instruction.
There's always room for improvement.
Yeah, exactly.
In all areas and in everything. And when you see it in black and white, hey, a lot of the kids were short on this or this other area, it does help you as an educator to try to, put more focus on those skills
Right.
as well.
And the bottom line is student success.
Yes.
Exactly.
Do the
Exactly.
best.
What are some tips for parents? Let's go backwards. Let's start with high school. What are some tips for high school parents?
I think it's very important for parents. I believe in the power of positive thinking. I think it's very
Definitely.
important for parents to be supportive and positive about the test, the ACT in particular, and even in 10th grade when they take the Aspire, because with the Aspire they are predicting an
Exactly.
ACT score. So I think parents have a very important role in telling students to do their best.
Stay positive and calm.
Yes, stay positive and calm, and accept where they are, and just positively reinforce their education and
Right.
help them identify their weaknesses and work through them.
I like that. You were saying accept where they are. So we know that in Mobile County we do have a student who has made a perfect score. But reality, we know that all students are not.
Are not
But as a
going to,
parent, we just have to accept, take a look at the information, and then you will have the opportunity to take it again
Yes,
if
so
necessary.
just, if it's not where you as a student want to be, try again the next time, do your best, and, hopefully the score will be higher, being a little bit more prepared for the next time.
Exactly. We have discussed ACT and ACT Aspire. So what are some tips for parents? Because as a parent, there are some things that I would like to know in order to make sure that my child is doing their best and that I'm encouraging them to do their best. So what are some tips? Let's start from the back end. Let's start with high
The
school.
high school.
Yeah.
I definitely think even at the high school level, the power of positive reinforcement and positive thinking matters, and
Exactly.
I believe it helps. If you can encourage your children to do their best on that 10th grade Aspire test, since they are predicting an
What the
ACT
score will be.
And then as far as taking the ACT, accept where your child is in the moment, help them identify their weaknesses, and help them overcome them in a
And that is
positive
important,
manner.
like you were saying, because if you accept where they are,
Exactly.
then you know what we need to work on.
Yes.
And there'll be
Exactly.
more opportunities. You said at the beginning of the show that you can take the test up to 6 times in a school year. So you know what you fell short on, so you'll know what to study for the next time to be more ready.
Exactly. Okay, so that's ACT. Now, Ms. Jackson, ACT Aspire.
That home school connection is invaluable. I would say as a parent, make sure that you visit the school, you have conversations with the teachers so that you can be that natural extension from what's happening at school, and you can
what goes on
reinforce
at
that at
home.
Because
home.
we're talking with third grade. It's not like high school. The students can pretty much understand that third grade student does need that parent there, that
To
support.
keep up with everything, just
Exactly.
school-wise in general.
And reminding everyone of the permanency of what's happening. This is something that's going on your record. It doesn't go away.
Right.
Employers, prospective employers may get a chance to see
To
this.
look at that as
College,
well.
trade schools, it's there. What will that narrative say about you? Because remember, when you sit down in front of that computer, you're writing that narrative. What will that say about you?
Wow, Ms. Jackson just left us with some great parting words. What will that narrative say about your child? And parents, we want to be a part of a positive and great narrative when it comes to our children. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We hope you have received some great information, and we look forward to seeing you again. Parent Connect.
Thank you so much. Thank you for our lovely guests. You guys have given us such great information. Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much for
having us.
coming.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for having us.